Hello, everyone. My name is Clantus, and welcome to Clantus Dumagute podcast. So, probably you've been wondering, where have I been? Well, life update. So, as you guys know, that the last time when I was here, I was actually moving. I think you guys did see a video of me doing some. I don't know if I was cleaning the place or I was moving. I can't remember exactly when we left the when I last saw you, and I think I was also making a video because I got so confused about the whole PayPal thing, and I kind of like made the request instead of yeah, all that stuff that you guys already know, and so. The reason why I kind of like went off grid for a second is because of my emotional state after that. I discovered once I moved into that place that it did not have the things that they had promised me. The first thing that they promised me was that the area has fiber so that my internet connection is not going to be disturbed even when there's load shedding because I have an inverter. But turns out that they don't even have fiber infrastructure at all in the area that I'm in, which kind of really drove me up the wall. So usually when I'm an upset person, it takes a while for me to calm down, and I also did not want to create videos while I was emotional the way I was. However, though, some of you do know that I have a main channel called Clantus Dumagudem, and there I accidentally got myself involved in court YouTube, meaning that there are two major cases that are going on here in South Africa of murder. And so one is of a soccer star that was murdered in 2014, and he was with his friends in a house somewhere in Johannesburg, six of his friends. And there's a suspicion that one of the friends shot and killed him. I still think he was shot by accident by one of the friends, but these friends are talking about two intruders that entered the house. But anyways, if you're interested in that case, it's on my main channel. So now the reason why I was consistent on that particular channel because it was also helping me let out the steam that I was feeling because of being lied to by my realtor. And so that is why I was consistent on that platform, because the case itself is quite upsetting. And so when I do like commentary after watching the case, then I get to release all of that steam out onto that case. So the second thing that also got me out of my consistency with this podcast channel is because I got myself a toothache. I think I got a toothache a week after I moved, and I was trying to nurse it because there was no way I wanted to abstract a tooth out of my mouth. There's no way that I want to have like gaps somewhere in my mouth. And then I was told that the only cure to cure a toothache is to abstract it. I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. So I went to the dentist, and the dentist saw a cavity, and then I was like, fill it up. There's no way I'm removing. Then the dentist and I kind of like had a small debate. He was like, no, you need to remove it. I was like, no, you need to fill it up because I am not going to lose a tooth. I already lost two up, but at the back, there's no way I want to lose more teeth. And so he filled it up and he said, you're going to be here within a year. I was like, and we'll fill it up again. So it was quite interesting about that. Then the question of, because I've been also getting questions from the people that made donations into my PayPal, they saying, hey dude, you haven't taken the money yet. And I'm like, yeah, it's still pretty much in my PayPal wallet as is. The reason being is that I did open an account with FNB, and that's the only bank here in South Africa that we can withdraw PayPal money from. So as you guys know, that I did open an FNB account, but I think the last time I tried to withdraw, they told me that my PayPal account was not verified, and I tried to verify it, but for some reason it's giving me issues. So because I was nursing a toothache and also this court case that is going on in South Africa, I thought, okay, what do we do with the PayPal for now? Then I said, you know what, let's use it as saving up. I'll just use it as saving up while I figure other things out, and then someday if a rainy day comes, then I will utilize that cash. So please don't feel like I don't want or I'm rejecting your blessings. Not at all. I'm still pretty much very grateful for your kindness and your heart for that. I appreciate you guys a lot. Trust me. And then the last time I did a video about places to visit in South Africa as African Americans, and then I promised you a video about where to stay when you are in South Africa, whether you're visiting South Africa or you are settling down in South Africa. So I thought, okay, let me show you guys places, or maybe tell you the places that I feel would be the best place for African Americans to stay at when they come to South Africa. It's totally up to you at the end of the day where you want to go to, because let me tell you something, the way South Africa is so diverse. Each province, there are 9 provinces in South Africa, 9. And each province has its own feel. Each province has its own experiences. Each province will give you probably what you are looking for, or maybe something that you totally do not like. There are parts, our provinces, I think they're divided into urban area to rural or country, as you guys call it. So like farming, where if you are interested in agriculture, it will be wise or advisable that you stay in a province where farming it is, or agriculture, it is the order of the day, like Free State, like Limpopo, like Northwest Province. These 3 provinces, I feel like those are the even in Mpumalanga province, these are the provinces I feel that probably it's where you should settle down. But if you are a entrepreneur in agriculture but also enjoy city life, then you can go live in one of the cities, but just make sure that you are not too far away from your farm or from your agricultural activity. So let's start with the place that I think, and I see a lot of African Americans, they go there. Others are settling there, probably sometimes I think without knowing until they are there. And then whenever they find my videos, because I've had a lot of African Americans that discovered this channel, and they are writing me emails and we are interacting even on Instagram, because I now have an Instagram page which is called this very channel name, Clantis Dumagute Podcast. And then we are DMing each other, and a lot of y'all, or some of them, have discovered that, oh my goodness, the reason why I left the US and then I moved to Cape Town, I'm finding it in Cape Town. And I'm like, okay, I understand what they mean, because Cape Town is accused of I won't say it's an accusation per se. In fact, for me as a South African, it's a place that I don't like going to. If I do go, I go there for business or a meeting and I'm out of there. And not because I love Cape Town. Don't get me wrong. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. I still say it is God showing off when you go to Cape Town. But I think for me, humanity is more important over the beauty and infrastructure and all that stuff that is going down there in Cape Town. So you'll find that the attitude of the people of Cape Town, if you go to Cape Town anyways, you will find predominantly colored people. These are mixed race people, and then you'll find white people, and then you're going to find black people. So the majority population in Cape Town or in the Western Cape will be colored and white people. And then unfortunately, some of the colored people and some of the white people, they don't particularly like black people. So if you left the US because of the BS that is going on there with racial tensions and things like that, and think that, okay, I'm going to move to South Africa, and then you choose Cape Town or you choose the Western Cape, this is the province where Cape Town is, and then you encounter the very things that you left the US for in the Western Cape, then I would say to you, then don't move to the Western Cape. As an African American, don't move to Cape Town unless you are quite selective of areas to live in, either in Cape Town or the Western Cape, because there are also African Americans who are thriving that are living in the Western Cape. Maybe they're not living particularly in Cape Town, but they're living in the surrounding areas of the city of Cape Town, like Stellenbosch, like Garden Route, and places of that nature. All those places are gorgeous. They're very, very beautiful, but they don't encounter the very thing that they left the United States for, and they're enjoying their lives. They're having a really, really good time. They're just avoiding where they might come across trouble. So I think Cape Town, for me, I would say for an African American, it is the best to buy a holiday home, because Cape Town is great to go there on a holiday. Like if you have a holiday home there, you don't have to hire Airbnb, you don't have to hire a hotel. You know that you have a home there that you go to and go relax. It's quite relaxing. It's, like I said, it's very beautiful. You will have a time of your life, provided that you avoid areas where you are going to have the people that you left the United States for, because they are there. They annoy the rest of us too, but we have a way of dealing with them that you might not necessarily be able to, because the first thing they will do, they will be able to tell you that you are not even a South African. Basically try to kind of like what do you call it, what's the word, not size you down, but like put you in your place type of thing, because they feel like South Africa is theirs and why you're here, and they can do whatever they want or say to you, and then obviously spoil your entire stay in the country. I've also seen and heard some of my African American friends who've come across such people, and of course with one of them I told them, hey, it's easy how we deal with these guys. This is how you want to, this is what you do. And I also want to make it clear that not all white people in South Africa are like against black people or racist. Oh, I don't want to use the word racist a lot because YouTube flags such words. So let me just use the word not like black people. Not every white person does not like black people. There are those that may not like us but tolerate us. And then we can pick up as well that this guy is just tolerating us. But as long as you are not going to be showing me your nasty and evil side, I'm cool with that. I don't have to deal with you either. And even in Johannesburg, you will find those, but they are rare because they are very afraid of the repercussions of what they might do that will trigger us to take action. And usually the action is legal, because that word, the R word in South Africa, is illegal. I think it's under crime and injuria when you open it, and then it's a 2-year imprisonment and a 250,000 rand fine. So I don't think some of them want to find themselves being being fined by the state. On top of that, spend 2 years in prison. So we know how to deal with that type of people. But at the same time, there are some black people who would deliberately agitate some white people for reasons that I still don't get. Maybe because of how they feel about the history of the country. But in most cases, it's always this way, where you would hear that there was a racial slur that was passed on to a black person, and then usually that will end up breaking the internet, and then you will hear all black people that are on the internet wanting justice, and of course then they will be held criminally liable. And so those are the things that I feel like if you want to settle down in South Africa and then you choose Cape Town because you think this is that it will fit and suit your lifestyle, I would say rather have a place that you can go to for a holiday in Cape Town rather than staying there. And I'm not also saying that you don't have a right to go and stay there. You can stay there for 6 months if you want to. Stay for 6 months, feel the vibe. If you think you like what you like there, then probably Cape Town is definitely for you, or the Western Cape is for you. But I would say that the places that I would suggest for African Americans to stay at, again, I don't know where in the US you would have come from. If you come from, let's say, places like the South, even the East of the United States, probably the best place for you to live is Johannesburg. Johannesburg is vibey. It is a melting pot of all kinds of people that come from everywhere, from all around the world. And also, Johannesburg, it is, or Gauteng for that matter. Gauteng is a province. Johannesburg is in the province of Gauteng. And Gauteng houses two major cities. The second city being Pretoria, which is also our administrative capital. So there are a lot of African Americans that live in Pretoria as well as Johannesburg. And so it's up to you which part of Gauteng that feels good for you. Because if you go towards the administrative capital, which is Pretoria, the vibe there is very different from the vibe in Johannesburg. By vibe, I'm not just talking about fun and all that. I'm talking in terms of hustling and bustling. They're very quite different from each other, even though they're just 30 minutes drive apart from each other, or 30 minutes with the Gautrain and probably 45 minutes drive by a vehicle. So they're quite different, but they're both in the province of Gauteng. So if you are more like entrepreneurial, if you enjoy the hustle and bustle, and you enjoy being inspired, or maybe you want to inspire people, then Johannesburg is definitely where you should consider to settle down. It's also great to visit this Johannesburg as well as Pretoria if also you are thinking, or maybe you are searching for whatever it is that you're searching for in South Africa, because I came to realize that some African Americans are coming to South Africa for healing, going and listening to the history of South Africa, which is pretty much close to your own. It's got some sense of healing when you look at the people of South Africa and seeing them thrive. You also see the possibility of you thriving in the same environment. Because let me tell you something, and I've said this many a times before, that South Africa is alive with possibilities. It is alive with opportunities, especially for you who's coming from the US with the US dollar. You can stretch this dollar as far as you want. You can start businesses. Like I said earlier, some other videos before, starting a real estate business is something that you are going not to regret. Starting a travel and tourism, or is it travel and tourism? No. There's this other one, because it involves restaurateur as well. If you are into the restaurants and bars and rooftop type of vibe, then you are going to thrive in South Africa. Recently, one of my brother's friends opened a rooftop, and then it didn't look promising because of the area. And I was wondering, did you do your market research, or you just thought because this area has an open roof, then you can just start a business there? Lo and behold, it is busy. People are willing to drive all that way. It is busy. And it also surprised him as well. It's like, yo, I took a risk here, and the risk is paying off. So what I'm trying to say is, hotel keeping and catering. That's what I wanted to say earlier. Hotel keeping and catering. Apart from travel and tourism, I think these two industries are different. Hotel keeping and catering, that is where your Airbnb comes in. If you are into hotel type of business, and you have the money to either buy a building, turn it into a hotel, or buy land and build from scratch your own hotel, then yes, you would be on the right track. And then the restaurants as well. If you are into restaurants, like food is a huge deal here in South Africa. So there's an African American that came here, and I think she left about 3 days ago. She said, oh my God, I gained so much weight since being in South Africa. And I said, one thing about South Africa, when you come here, we will feed you. Whether you are buying from a restaurant, the portions on your plate, they're quite different from probably where you might come from. Yes, I understand people that come from Texas, everything is big there, and probably South Africa might never match to the portions of Texas, but we have our own. We will feed you. We will feed you organic food, fresh food, food that will heal your body as well. There's another African American friend of mine who came to South Africa. He's settling here. I don't know if he's going to be watching. When he came here, he was taking diabetes pills when he was staying in the US. And since he's been in South Africa, he has not been taking his diabetes pills, even though before you like that is responsible, he had gone to the doctor. The South Africa, one thing about South Africa, we have good doctors, world standard or world class doctors. That's one of the things that makes South Africans not to leave South Africa, because we got very good health system, and then most of the time it is free for us. Yes. Now there is a new law where I can walk into a private hospital and the government will pay for me. So which is kind of like good. So he did go like a responsible adult, and the doctor did not dictate anything and basically looked at his pills and was like, why are you taking these pills? Because these pills are for diabetes. You don't have diabetes. And then it's like, but then when I'm in the US, I drink diabetes pills. That's what my doctor prescribed. So of course he went for second opinion. The second doctor was like, why are you taking diabetes pills? You don't have diabetes. So I'm not sure what happened, whether he was misdiagnosed in the US or he's being diagnosed here. I don't think he's being diagnosed here, because he went back to the US not so long ago. He was there for like a month and he did not take his diabetes pills and nothing happened. So clearly he might have been misdiagnosed there because of, I don't know what goes on there when it comes to your health system when they feed you pills. Whether that is to make money, I don't know. Let me just leave it like that. I don't know. But anyways, some people come here for healing purposes. And then I've heard people say, oh my goodness, since being here, my soul feels healed. Or this is, I don't know. I don't know how, because where they come from, they have their own little experience. They have their own experiences, and then when they come here, those experiences seems to dissipate. Which I think it does make sense in a way, because you're coming to a place where you share so much in common with the people, and then when you look at the people and how they're living their lives, you tend to think, this is inspiring. This is very inspiring that, okay, we had this history, but here we are moving and we are thriving. And then the possibility as well of me being here and living the same way as these people, then I think that's what makes many African Americans end up deciding to either return and stay for longer, or return and go back, for whatever reasons. Because like I said, I am meeting all kinds of you guys, and what I am saying right now, it's stuff that you guys share with me. And then, of course, as a South African citizen, I'm going to feel on top of the clouds. I'll be on cloud 9 thinking, oh, this is great. I'm loving what I'm hearing. The quality of life in South Africa is great. Even me as a South African citizen, I would say that yes, we got so many challenges. We got a lot of challenges. But let me tell you something, when it comes to the side of life, South Africans will show you flames. And by showing you flames, I'm talking in the positive way. And I think that is what many of you, when you come here, you pick up. You pick up that, okay, this nation has issues, but they seem to be moving in a positive direction for themselves, because we're not going to be sitting and wallowing in our challenges and not see life and experience life, but watch it pass us by. We refuse to do that. One of the things about South Africans, we are stubborn. And another reason why you don't hear much of like negative things amongst each other. Yes, we are holding our government accountable. If you're in South Africa and you are looking or reading South African Twitter, you see us talking about, oh, this country is a joke. Oh, this is a... No. South Africans are just doing that to keep the government on its toe. Because the last thing that we want is for the government to feel like, we can take advantage of these people. We don't want that. So we will challenge them, we will say things that are harsh, and to ensure that they deliver on services. That right now we're having load shedding, and they are like a headless chicken trying to solve the load shedding issue, because next year we are going to general elections. So they do not want to lose any votes in 2024. But we are still saying we are not going to vote for you. And you might think, when you're looking at South African YouTube, not YouTube, Twitter, you'll be like, now, these people are up in arms. No, we are not. We are just holding our government accountable, and also showing them that their position in government, it is borrowed. We can take it away any given time. And another thing about South African political stability, it is on point. No South African has an appetite for violence. No South African has an appetite for an uprising. No South African has an appetite to be running after a government, because we are busy with our own lives. We are busy establishing ourselves. We are busy establishing businesses. We are busy establishing families. We are busy taking care of our families. And the last thing that we want is some politician coming and say, hey, we need to go to the streets and carry guns and fight. Against who? Against who? Another fellow South African? Yes, we are experiencing inequality as well. But let me tell you something. All of this is going to come to an end when South Africans begin, because already they are beginning to get up, especially the Gen Zs. One thing I like about the South African Gen Zs, they don't take a no from anybody. They are holding everybody accountable. They are holding the government accountable. They are holding white people accountable. Like, how come you are richer than me? How come you are richer than me? So those are the conversations that are taking place right now in South Africa. And I always said this, that the Gen Z in South Africa seemingly is South Africa's hope. Because the generation that I'm in, it's still pretty much, for me, when apartheid came to an end, I was already a preteen. So a lot of things that I was pushed to do was go to school, get an education, get a degree, and go to work. The last thing that I thought about was to hold why you are richer than I, why the economy is controlled by you, why is it not controlled by us, or why aren't we all sharing the same benefits of the South African economy and things of that nature. But the generation behind us, they are asking questions and they want changes. So going back to the places that I think African Americans can settle down at or in, another one is Durban. If you are into slow pace, and I would say people that are coming from the coastal areas of the United States and you enjoy the beach, and or you cannot live without the beach, then definitely going to live in Durban or in KwaZulu-Natal. KwaZulu-Natal is a province, also known as the Kingdom of the Zulus. Durban is in that province. Then, of course, you can enjoy that. It's a slow paced, but it also has hustling and bustling going on, especially in the city of Durban called eThekwini. So if you are once again into travel and tourism, hotel and keeping and catering, you will thrive in Durban. Right now, real estate development in Durban is booming. If you got money to build a house, turn it into a hotel, or buy a building and turn it into a hotel or into an Airbnb or whatever the case is, do it right now because it is booming. And a lot of South Africans during December period go there. That is why we call it the playground of South Africa. So it's, I think right now they say per December, Durban makes the most money, I think around 15 billion rand or something like that. And you want to be part and parcel of that 15 billion rand, because all businesses, whether you're an Airbnb or a hotel, I think I mentioned in my previous videos that when you book a hotel in Durban for December, you have to do it a year before. So meaning for 2023, you should have booked in 2021. You see, because if you book in 2022 for 2023, all hotels, all of them, fully booked. You'll be put on standby that you will never get a call for, because everybody will still go there. So can you imagine, you come with your money, you buy a house, turn it into an Airbnb, that all these other people who couldn't get hotels, they find your Airbnb, and then they come and stay there for 4, 5, 6 days, or even 10 days, and then you get to make a lot of money. So if you are into that, then Durban is definitely a place for you to go settle down at. But if you're going to settle down in Durban, also buy an extra property that you are going to turn into a business, whether into a restaurant. A lot of restaurants are also now in houses. Like, you buy a house and then you turn the house into a restaurant, and you'll find a lot of people going to patronize you. Like, people enjoy eating out these days more than cooking, which is something that I'm like, South Africans are changing, because it's never been a South African thing to eat out. We always cooked our meals at home. But more and more South Africans, I think it's because of being busy as well. You go to work, you come back at 6, the last thing you want is starting to cook. So what you do is hop everybody in the vehicle and go to a restaurant and eat, come back home, go to bed. It's happening to me too. Sometimes I'm just lazy. In fact, these days I have not cooked at all. Since August started, I have not been cooking. I'm ordering out. I am sitting in some restaurant and I'm eating. Whenever we go out, we're eating in restaurants. So the restaurant business as well, it is booming in South Africa, and it continues to boom. I think after COVID, everything just went like boom in South Africa. There's a lot of booming when it comes to that sector, especially with travel and tourism, because again, the spotlight seems to be in South Africa when it comes to the African diaspora. That also includes African Americans. Not only African Americans, but other races as well are coming down to South Africa. And then if you have a business in travel and tourism or in hotel keeping and catering, you are going to benefit out of those. You can. Another thing that I also realized, in Durban, I only know Durban to have hostels. You know, those tourism hostels. They are in Durban, but there are not a lot of them. I think I only know of 3, and I think those are the only 3 that exist. Can you imagine if you also bought a portion of some building and then you turn it into a hostel? The amount of business that you are going to enjoy there, great, because Durban as well is starting to become pretty popular amongst tourists. It used to be Johannesburg and Cape Town in particular, because of its scenery. Now Durban is also, the spotlight is moving towards it, and hostels are needed. So if you are listening to me and you got some cash on you, hostels are a hot potato right now. Airbnbs are hot potatoes right now. So I would encourage you, with whatever you got, try and come, put it up, and let's see what goes on. So I think those are the places that I think would be not appropriate, that would be conducive for African Americans to move to. That is Durban, that is Johannesburg, and Pretoria. But if, like I said, you are into agriculture, then you can look into living in Limpopo. That's a province. You can look into living in the Free State. That is where you find Bloemfontein. Or you can live in the province of Northwest. Those are very much rural, not rural, they're mostly agricultural. You can get yourself I don't know, find agricultural business partners there. I don't know much about agriculture, but I'm sure there are a lot of people either looking for a partner with capital and they have the land, or whatever the case might be. Those are the things that I feel like, as an African American, when you come to South Africa, you might look into. I don't know. You might actually look into that. I hope you look into that. I've seen as well people that are moving. There have a couple of African Americans that I've already met that have come, and then they say, "Oh, listen, I'm meeting someone. Would you like to come with me? Because you are the person that I trust, and also you can understand a South African." So I've sat in about 3 meetings, and then it's just that the people that they're meeting thus far, it's not exactly black people, because like I said, the economy currently in South Africa is not run by black people. I'm talking about the tangible businesses are still in the hands of white people. So most of the people that we've met thus far is white people looking for partners here and there. And there are a lot of white people that are looking for partners to merge and create a maybe not create a business, maybe for partnership in a business venture or another. Like I said in some video, and I told you that in South Africa we have a policy of black economic empowerment. Yes, that policy is supposed to benefit South Africans, but because South Africans don't come from generational wealth, where we have a trust fund somewhere where we can pull out R1 million or so and then form a business partnership with a white person. So in most cases, a white person, when they need to start a business, they need to have a black partner. And the black partner needs to hold a senior position, either a CEO or COO or CFO. Basically, that is Chief Executive Officer or Chief Operational Officer or Chief Financial Officer. So those are the these positions that they must hold in order for the BE score to be what's the word again I'm looking for today. My mind is just compliance. BE compliant. That is that's what they look for. And I'm not quite sure if that policy may also be of use, or if African Americans are allowed to be a part of it. I don't know. I think that's a research that I still have to do on that one. Hopefully, South Africa itself will start. I'm talking about the government. I think the government is also starting to wake up when it comes to the visa thing, and a lot of African Americans are being rejected. Not only just African Americans, but I think there's like 500 people that have been rejected for visas, especially more like retirement visa or one visa or another. And then it was debated in our parliament that they need to relax these rules. They are not going to work in South African favor if we keep rejecting people. 520 people are too much to be rejected when South Africa is in dire need of investors, when South Africa is in dire need of people that can come and use their money to build businesses and also employ people. Because when you come to South Africa, and either you are here temporarily or you are here permanently or you are here in and out, you can always hire somebody either to clean for you or cook for you or do like domestic work for you. That's job creation here in South Africa. In case you didn't know, that's job creation by hiring somebody who's going to keep your house well and also cook for you. And you are already busy and you don't have time to cook, you don't have time to clean, you don't have time to do your laundry. You can hire somebody who can do all those things for you. So those are the opportunities that were debated in Parliament, that the Minister of Home Affairs need to relax some of these rules. And he actually agreed that he will relax some of these rules. So sooner or later, I think that he's going to start with digital nomads, because digital nomads as well, they're tending to having some kind of issues with South African Home Affairs. And I think very soon he's going to relax all those laws that are making it bit impossible for them to stay here. And another thing that of course they are working on is the load shedding as well. I think in recent days or recent weeks, the load shedding situation has been minimalized. Instead of having consecutive load shedding times, now they've been limited. So it shows that they're doing something, because South Africans are complaining. South Africans are like, no, 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 no. You better do something about this. So again, I don't know. I think this video was all over the place. I think because when you restart something, it's always gonna start on a shaky ground. Once I find my feet once again, I'm definitely going to be here consistently from this point on, because I think I've calmed down. While I've come down, I'm busy also looking for a new place. So I think I'm going to move around December. Not now, because of course my job's still pinning me down a little bit, even though things at work have relaxed. I think maybe December, like maybe beginning mid-December or something like that, then I will move to a place where I will have the things that I want. Most importantly, fiber. The fiber infrastructure is very important as a content creator, so that I'll be here every single week dropping a video, or dropping maybe even going live and things like that. With the way things are currently going, I'm not pretty much confident, because I am using a router from a different company, and sometimes when there's load shedding, it becomes almost impossible to connect with my internet, and I hate that. So anyways, guys, I think I will be here consistently from this point on. Please continue to send me emails. My email is under the About channel. If you go into my podcast channel, you go under About, you will see my email address. I think I have not put my Instagram link yet, but the Instagram page is called Clantis Dumagu the Podcast. You can DM me something, or if you want, you have questions, I'm more than willing to have a conversation. I'm always open to having conversations with you guys. I'm enjoying having conversation with you guys. And the relationships that I've built with some of you has been incredible. And I appreciate each and every one of you for coming here. And also I appreciate the South Africans that also that are here and supporting this podcast channel. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. Anyways, let me say goodbye, and I will see you in my next podcast video. I promise consistency is going to be my friend going forward. Goodbye.